Hi, welcome back. This week is, I think it's our last episode of the season, isn't it?
It is indeed.
Oh,
It's also a bullshit week of the season.
it is. Our time has flown by.
Oh yes.
Our seasons are a bit more consistent than some seasons are about to be with the Premier League. What do you reckon?
If we have a Premier League.
Yeah, if it goes ahead, I don't know. This Super League crack is a load of bollocks.
It is a load of bollocks.
It is. It's just ridiculous. I can't get my head around it. They're here giving out being oh well, it's gonna be great for the clubs and it's great for. It's not. It's great for their fucking wallet.
Lining their pockets.
Yeah, what was it, 3.5 billion per club as a.
It's an investment over time with €350 million bonus straight away into the pockets of these rich cons.
And what the worst thing about it is it's just the Americanization of football. I know they're trying to. I can see some sort of reasoning behind wanting to do this with an American investor, but no, it's not football. Do you know, it's not football at all.
I can understand if there was no international football, maybe for a summer breakaway tournament for clubs.
Yeah.
Like a World Cup says for the the national sides.
Yeah.
But it's basically a European soccer ball cup.
Yeah.
Or as somebody was saying the other day, the JP Morgan Invitational Trophy. Should we call it that?
Yeah. The JP Morgan Open.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's madness. What's the incentive there apart from money? Realistically, fans aren't interested in the money a club makes.
No.
Well, they shouldn't be.
They're just interested in how their team is doing.
Exactly.
And if the players are correct that they're bringing in. Well, from our point of views anyway.
Yeah.
And the other great news is, as Gary Neville would call it, the trunk of the tree has been removed. We need to remove the roots of that tree now. And Woodward has walked.
It's a great day for United. Although it's a bit down the road, but
it's coming.
It's coming. And what I love about this is why didn't he just step down at the end of the season rather than the end of the year? And that jumped out for me because it's a business at the end of the day. He's leaving at the end of the business year. He's not leaving at the end of the football year.
It's a lot to do with contract, and he will look at it from a point of view of how he's going to make the most money. The thing that struck me actually is he's been in the club for 18 years.
16 years.
16 years.
16 years.
I couldn't grasp that. I thought he was brought in from the outside when Fergie left and David Gill, of course, left. And
no, he was always involved in some. He wasn't obviously the position he is now, but I think part of the post-Ferguson era downfall of United,
his fault.
It's been the lack of a David Gill.
That's it.
Do you know? And I'm sure Edward has very good intentions, and realistically, he is a very good businessman.
Business-wise, fantastic, but he doesn't have the flair of a David Gill.
No.
It's hilarious. He left his post there, Ed Woodward, at UEFA. Who took that role? David Gill.
Did he?
He did, yeah. David Gill he's not a spring chicken, but
no, not by any means.
You can see how he runs things and why UA offered such a high position in his age.
Yeah.
But as well,
he's the right man for the job.
He is the right man for the job, but you have to look at it as well. The Glazers there. Well, if when the Glazer era is over at United, and whether we get better owners, remains to be seen. To be honest, if we do or we don't.
See, I don't know who come in. Obviously, as a United fan, I'd love to own Man United, but there's no incentive for somebody to go buy that club.
No, because they went down. I was talking to Dan before we come on about they went down. Their shares went down since Sunday. We're recording this on Wednesday.
You look confused there. Today is Wednesday.
Yeah, I was very confused.
It's Wednesday all day as well.
Wednesday all day. Jesus Christ. But the Super League idea and all that, and their shares plummeted because of that. But it's still what I've seen today on Sky Sports News. It's $4 billion to buy out the Glazers at United and become, the majority
pocket
shareholder.
Change.
Pocket change. You have the like of I laughed at last night, and I was a fan of him and loved the way he fought for years, and he made the UFC what it is. Seeing Conor McGregor saying that he'd buy United,
brilliant.
But at the end of the day, he wouldn't have the money to buy Accrington. Well, he would have the money to buy Accrington Stanley. But
probably, I probably had the money to buy Accrington Stanley
if we put all our money together, you know. But you look at the like of McGregor, that's the type of man you want, kind of taking over.
Yeah,
the club.
a fan of the club.
You want a fan. I know he isn't the most popular figure in the world, but he transformed the sport. Could he transform, a football club, that remains to be seen. But
He was a good footballer back in his day, though.
yeah, what was it?
Crumlin he played with, wasn't
Crumlin,
he?
yeah. But like, it's stuff like that. You want a fan. You want somebody like that. It would have been great, I thought, if like David Beckham there starting a football team in the US. Like, that would have been brilliant. Of course, if he had the money, I'm sure Becks would have been, you know, probably vying for United.
I think 4 billion is a bit out of his range. Like, he's a rich man, but I don't think he's worth 4 billion.
But
like.
you look at it though, like the stadium Inter Miami built. I'm sure there was a lot of funding involved in that.
Oh yeah, like at the end of the day, if David Beckham comes knocking, you don't say no, really. Like, do you? Like, if he's looking for a sponsorship, who's going to say no to sponsoring David Beckham?
Well, you look at Adidas. He's still a massive head in Adidas.
Oh, and he has been since for the last 25.
The 90s, like
25 years, like.
I can't remember David Beckham wearing another brand of boot.
No.
Like, but like looking at it, like you'd want, in my own opinion, you want someone who you feel that you can, you know, connect with. Like the fans, I would like a portion of that club, even if it's 20 or 25%, to be owned by the fans.
Yeah, and I think a good example of that in England is Chelsea Football Club as well, because obviously Roman Abramovich is the owner. He owns the club basically, but he doesn't at the same time, because their last owner, I can't remember his name, to be honest with you, but
it's a long time ago.
Yeah, it's a long time ago. But when he was selling the club, he sold Chelsea Football Club, but he didn't sell the naming rights and he didn't sell the stadium. And the council, I think London City Council, owned the pitch. So like Roman Abramovich doesn't own anything. He just owns
the borough, Chelsea.
Yeah, he owns a group of players. Like,
yeah, like
that's it. Like,
it said he owns the majority stake in the club. Like, it's very interesting. Like, and I've always been interested in the ownership of the football clubs in England, and like the greatest example of greed, probably, you know, just before our time, was Wimbledon.
Oh,
Wimbledon,
and look where that got them.
Oh, completely shafted, and the fans said, no, we're not moving an hour down, you know, whatever motorway it was, down to Milton Keynes. We're going to stay, we're going to create a new Wimbledon. And they only changed, like, it's funny, like they changed the name to AFC, was it? AFC Wimbledon, as opposed to Wimbledon AFC.
Yeah.
And fair play to them, they're in League One, I think it's
they're working their way back, like.
Working their way back up
but
the ladder.
MK Dons have something to do with that as well, though, don't they?
That was the new team formed out of it. MK Dons have only been a team for the last, I think it's 20 maybe years. Yeah. No, since 2004. So that's what, 17 years.
They're 4 years older than Man City.
There you go, yeah.
Wow.
Would you believe that? Would you believe that now? But
there's another ownership thing we need to get into as well.
But I was listening to Monday Night Football there the other night, and I have no disrespect to City or anything like that. Gary Neville was saying the amount of money. I was in the Etihad once, and it was for a gig. But if you're ever at the Etihad, you'd understand the amount of money they've pumped into the community around that stadium.
It's not just a stadium. They have acres upon acres, like
acres of land,
training grounds, unbelievable.
It's a campus. Yeah. That's what it is. It's basically like a college campus. But see, they put money into the academy. They put money into local housing for underprivileged families, hard-working people in Manchester. And that area would be a very hard-working area. And like people are very quick to say, oh, you know, yeah, they've only become competitive since they arrived. Yeah. But you have to put your hands up and go, well, they put money into the local community, something that the Glazers haven't. And Gary Neville was saying that parts of Old Trafford haven't been paid in 20 years. Like it's
like, to be honest, Old Trafford, it's a great stadium. I love it to bits, but in the greater scheme of things, like if you're looking at, like, look at Tottenham, for example.
Yeah.
Probably Tottenham Stadium is probably the best stadium in the world.
At the moment,
with regards to modernised stadium, it's unbelievable.
Yeah.
And like everything is polished and perfect. And now, bear in mind, they haven't really had fans in it to wear it down a little bit, you know, but they won't either. They don't really have any fans, but
what do you think of Tottenham?
Shit.
What do you think of shit?
Tottenham.
That's it.
Good, that's alright. That's alright. He's got to go, blood. Yeah, like basically, like, I think United need not a new stadium. They don't need to do anything with the capacity of the stadium either. Like, it's still the biggest
club stadium in England.
Yeah, it's by far.
Oh, by far, yeah.
But there needs to be some sort of regeneration to it. And I remember seeing a thing on YouTube, and it was like the regeneration of stadiums to come in the next like 10-15 years. And they were showing them all, and like Anfield was getting basically 2 new stands, which one of them has been done.
Anfield is incredibly modern now.
Yeah, and Craven Cottage is getting a new one as well. And then they showed United. Yeah, it's mad. It's hanging over the Thames, like.
They're putting apartments in over the pitch.
Yeah.
Like, it's
and like Tottenham have a shopping centre in it. Like.
Yeah. It's incredible.
Do you know what they were doing to Old Trafford? A retractable roof, and that was it.
A retractable roof.
Yeah.
Where it's pointless.
Yeah.
They've the best pitch.
Oh yeah. Oh, 100%.
And they've the best gutter system. Like, there's a reason why the sides of the pitch are so steep at Old Trafford.
It's a bit weird though. Like they should have some sort of soft cushioning for lads coming off, because it's fucking brick.
Oh yeah.
Do you know? Like, you'd skin your legs on that. Like.
But then you wouldn't see stuff like Ashley Young shouldering Di Maria.
That was fantastic.
You know, like
that was fabulous.
Like
that was just phenomenal.
Fucking rat.
That was incredible.
Angel, he should have been called Deval.
Angel. He nearly was a fucking angel after Ashley Young got his hands on him.
Oh, I'm telling you. But yeah, like I think like Old Trafford, like what Gary Neville was saying, and Gary Neville spoke from the heart, and he was speaking about Sky Sports. But Sky Sports were the last big breakaway for English football. And to be fair, like, people won't believe this, and me and Dan would be just old enough to remember, but RTE used to show a 3 o'clock kickoff live on a Saturday.
Yeah.
And before, say, the Premier League was bought by Sky, you had BBC, you had RTE, you had ITV, you had all these people showing every game.
Yeah.
And you wouldn't have to pay for it.
Now, I do understand that they want people to go to the games for the 3 o'clock kickoffs. The principle of it is very good. I do like that, but I think people are forgetting a lot about this whole Super League thing. Like, Sky Sports really, really hopped on this bandwagon kind of thing, and we're like, no, say no to the Super League, say no to this, say no to this, say no to this. But I think what people are forgetting is that Sky Sports relatively did the same thing when it came to the Premier League.
They did back in '92, yeah.
Yeah, in '92, like they didn't reshape football and the whole pyramid system in it. They didn't do that, but there was that sort of exclusivity about this new league that they did, and the money pumped into it, and people are seeming to forgetting about this. Like, do you know?
They do, but see, and as well, Gary Neville made the point, like, you know, Sky Sports did pour a lot of money into these clubs as well, you know, like, and into, like, I think what they do with the Championship, the fact that they show a lot of Championship games, League 1, League 2, Scottish football, like, and like Northern Irish Premiership as well, show a lot of that, like, that's respected.
Focus on the top.
No, they're not giving all the money to. Yeah, they do give a lot of the money.
Yeah,
to,
a hell of a lot of it.
You know,
that's where they make their money.
That's where they make their money. Yeah. But like, when you think of your subscription there, like,
to be fair, if you're paying for Sky Sports, you're getting a good bang for your buck. You are, like, you're getting, like, you look at all the major sporting events that go on, like the Masters. They change a Sky channel to like Sky Sports Masters, or
the Open as well. The
Sky Sports Open, yeah.
The three biggest,
the F1 as well.
Golf tournaments on Sky.
Yeah, and the biggest viewerships as well, I'd say. Like, and you have, but they even, like, obviously BT coming in now as well. It's not going to overtake Sky with regards to.
But see, Sky part own BT.
Exactly.
So it's a monopoly in a kind of sense.
Like,
you know,
it's a win-win for Sky.
It is a win-win, yeah. But like you do think of Sky, that you're saying there, but the F1, they show all the F1, they show the
cricket as well.
Cricket, which I don't like it anyway.
The darts.
The darts, every single like big darting event, like the Premier League that's on there at the minute. Yeah. They're showing all that. I watch it every night. I could be watching 2 Sky Sports stations at once. I could be watching the darts on my phone, and I could be watching, you know, the football on the telly, or the other way around. Yeah. Like, the only thing that Sky kind of was controversial for in this country was the GAA. Yeah, and
it was a bit of a...
Their coverage, to be fair,
is very good.
Excellent.
It is very good.
It's a lot more modernised to what RTE have been doing.
Oh, you know? 100%. And I think they're getting a lot of stick because of the pundits they get on. Like, you can't... There's a lot to be said for steering away from your Joe Broddys, your Paspalans, your Colin O'Rourke's. You know, there's a lot to be said to going away from that because they're an older generation of footballers.
Exactly.
And you look at Sky Sports, they had like Ciara and Conor on from the Dublin team. Peter Canavan, like, you know, they have these
legends. Peter Canavan is
modern legend.
He's a legend,
but he's a modern legend in a way. Like, you know, he's played football in the last 20 years. Colin O'Rourke hasn't played football in about 30 years.
No, like, that's exactly that's a very valid point. Like, Peter Canavan's only retired. He retired, like, what a way to go out. He retired in 2005. Second on Ireland win, and he bowed out as captain, like, you know, with Sam Maguire in his hands.
Yeah, it was the perfect time for him.
But like, RTE fucked up there when they got rid of Joe Brolly.
Yeah.
Joe Brolly, I have a lot of time for Joe Brolly.
Yeah.
I think Joe Brolly is a man that speaks his mind, you know?
I heard a story about Joe Brolly, and it was absolutely phenomenal. He was talking about, he was playing against Tyrone in 97, yeah, it was, 97. And hang on, I'm just trying to find it here because it was absolutely phenomenal.
It was against Derry, wasn't it?
It was against Tyrone.
Oh, it was against Tyrone. It was an Ulster semi-final.
He's from Derry.
Oh, fuck.
But
Jesus.
I can't find it. But anyway, he basically he kept taunting the goalkeeper, being like, I'm gonna lob you. Look at you, you're 6'5", I'm gonna lob you. Like, such a wee man. He called him like a pathetic whore and everything. I was like, Jesus Christ, like, this man is going in for the kill. He says, I'm gonna lob you, and he kept turning around and pointing at the top corner, I'm gonna put it there. Anyway, lo and behold, the ball comes into Joe Brolly. What's he do? Sticks in the bottom corner, and he was like, you're some fucking fool thinking I'm gonna be able to lob a 6'5" man. They went on to win the game. Like, fucking
that's
genius.
That's the character
like.
of the man, you know?
Yeah, that's genius. Like, but if you're looking at it, like, Joe Brolly, 97, relatively coming to the end of his career, like, do you know, and you have like Colin O'Rourke, Pat Spillane, like, we're not denying these were fabulous footballers back in the day.
Legends of the game.
Yeah, like, people, there's a case to be made for Colin O'Rourke to be the best meat footballer of all time. I don't agree.
No.
He's up there.
I think there could be possibly, there's definitely, I think there's two ahead of him, possibly three
but
ahead.
he's from Leitrim anyway, so it doesn't count.
Exactly. He's only a town coach, you know.
For me, Trevor Giles is...
Trevor Giles, Mark O'Connell. You have to include Graham Garrity in that.
Mick Lyons.
Yeah, like,
do you know,
Mick Lyons, like, people don't talk about Mick Lyons. He gets talked about, but he's not talked about enough. Like, some of the stories you hear of, like, men who've been marked with Mick Lyons are incredible. From tickling the centre forward's legs to grabbing him by the bollocks, and, you know,
you couldn't do that in this day and age.
You wouldn't.
Cancel culture would be all over him.
Oh, Jesus,
Sky Sports would be showing action replays.
Be like your man who played hurling with Cork, the Rock O'Sullivan.
Oh.
Like, there's a great video of him losing his hurl, jumping up and catching the ball with two hands and pile driving.
Yeah, there was another one, a Wexford fella. Was his name Brick or something? I can't remember his name, but
Waterford, do you mean? Brick Walsh, was it?
It was either Waterford or Wexford, but he lost his hurl, or his hurl broke or something, and he was scrambling back, and he stood on his own goal line and blocked a full force sliotar with his chest. Blocked it, like, stood there and, like, bounced it off his chest, caught it, and then hand passed it off, and just kept playing. Like, that is fucking insane. And then you have lads, like, look at the Premier League. Like, I like him as a player, but Bruno Fernandes is fucking awful.
Salah,
Fernandes,
like,
they're all awful, and like,
they're all the same crack.
If you like so much as breathe on them, they're going down, rolling around for 6 weeks.
Son, there recently.
Yeah, well, look,
example, you know?
I can understand Son. He was hit in the face. It was an accident. He did make a meal of it, but at the end of the day, he was hit in the face.
Yeah.
But there was no intention there from McTominay.
No, and it was a little slap. It wasn't a close fist or a Glasgow fist from Scottish McTominay, you know.
Yeah, like, but like, you see these players. I think that's the difference between the GAA and football, and I think it was summed up perfectly when Sky Sports first showed hurling. Did you see the reaction of the English? They were all going mad. They were like, "Who in their right mind would play this sport?" Like, it's like wrestling.
Like, I played a lot of hurling. I love it. I think it's the greatest sport.
Oh, it is. It's by far. It's
like,
there's nothing better than a good game of hurling.
Like, I've been to
sports.
Like, I went to a All-Ireland final a couple of years. I managed to get to 2 All-Ireland finals in 2 weeks. I went to a replay, but there was 72 scores in the first game between Tipperary and Kilkenny. It ended in a draw.
That's insane.
72 scores. Like, that's
36 apiece. Like,
yeah, 72 scores in, what was it? In 90 minutes of playing, and it was just incredible. And the atmosphere and the passion it's unbeatable.
It's
unbeatable. You can't beat it.
Like,
at all.
Could you imagine if the GAA were to turn around and be like, "We'll make a Super League"?
Yeah, like,
I can, like, they did this whole Super 8s thing. It's obviously it's not the same. Like, anybody can qualify, and
I do like the Super 8s.
Yeah, it's a good idea.
I did like the way though they ran off the All Ireland. I know they have to run it off the old way because of time and all that. But I actually quite enjoyed the championship that they ran off there in November.
The Super 8. Yeah. But the Super 8 it's kind of, the GAA was crying out for some sort of regeneration. Or
I think it still is.
Rejuvenation, not regeneration. Rejuvenation.
I think it still is though, Dan. Like, I think.
Oh, there is a lot. There's still a long way to go.
Like, I think with the, like, I'm going to use a very fine example, the Leinster Championship. right, I'm going to come out and I'm not blowing my own trumpet. Our County Meath, like, we're the second best in Leinster. But being second best in Leinster, in the past, man, you were challenging the Dubs. But second best in Leinster is like, well, if you take the Dubs out of it, Meath would be winning it most years. But it's not like that at all. It's just Meath, like, me and Dan would be delighted if Meath got to a Leinster final and then got to, you know, the Super 8s. We'd be delighted, you know, and play Division 1 football.
That's a good season for Meath, though.
That's a brilliant season. But I do think Meath have had the last 2 seasons have been good for Meath football. I know we didn't win a game.
Yeah, but there's a hell of a lot of promise there. So like, it's a young squad.
It is a young squad, but like that year Division 1 football would do them well. Like,
what I like about this Meath team now is that they're starting to include some of the smaller clubs in their choice making, which is great to see, because for years you had like Stephen Bray, David Bray, and like Keenboard,
Anthony Miles.
Yeah, like, you know, you had these
Nigel Crawford.
Yeah, but you had a lot of these lads playing, but certain clubs, like you had Ashburn were running him. Ashburn, Summerhill, Dunboyne, Navan, O'Mahony's, like,
and then you had your two Tones lads.
Yeah, but they were like token Tones lads at the time.
They were, yeah.
You know, like,
you know, you had to pick them because they were two of the best in the county.
Owen Harrington was you couldn't drop him.
Him at his best, and I still like. I played with Owen. He's a fantastic hurler, an absolutely brilliant hurler.
Oh, I've been told he's a nearly better hurler than he is footballer.
Oh yeah, the same way that's like, you know, Thomas O'Reilly, who I went to primary school with.
I was in secondary school with.
You were in secondary school with. Like, I played on a team with Thomas in primary school. We won. We bet Dangan of Summerhill in a primary school's final. Like, even from that stage, like, we got to a hurling final as well in school. You know, boys from North Meath. You know, I know it's under 12s, but you know,
doesn't matter. You have to start somewhere.
But like Thomas there, fine example, brilliant hurler as well. Kayla Callaghan, who was on the development team for me. Yeah.
Another good hurler.
Brilliant hurler. Yeah. But like, there is that too, but like the football is
even Ross and Ronan Ryan.
Yeah.
The Ryan twins from Summerhill, unbelievable hurlers.
I hate playing them.
I worked with them, right? I knew them just playing for football, and then I worked with them and I found out they're the two nicest lads you'll ever meet in your life. They're so nice. But it's just so funny, like, how chalk and cheese they are as well.
Oh yeah.
Do you know?
But they're not like. But I used to hate playing them. Like, I hated playing them in the football and in the hurling.
Because they were so good. Like.
But they were, yeah. Like, I remember, I don't know which one of them it was, but I marked them in an under 16s game down in Gippstown. We played Kiltale in the hurling, and we drew with them. We never bet Kiltale.
Jesus.
Never ever bet Kiltale. Kiltale.
Just for context now, if you're listening outside of Meath and don't know, Kiltale hurling is like the Dublin football dynasty in Meath with regards to hurling. Like they're
just a hurling club as well.
Yeah, just pure hurling. Like, and pure hurling club in Meath is
very, very hard to come by.
Yeah, exactly.
They're the only one, are there? No,
Kildalkey as well.
There's only two. Line 3.
Rathmaline? No, they play football.
Rathmaline, yeah.
They play football?
Oh, they do.
Somebody let us know if they play football.
But like, they're like playing Kiltale. You just, like, if you lost to Kiltale by 5 or under, 5 or under the points mark, you were doing well.
Yeah.
But I remember, one week we could be playing in the hurling, we could play Kiltale, playing the two Ryans. Yeah. And the following week
you'd be playing Summerhill in the football.
You're like lovely, grand.
Jesus,
from them
is there 4 years or something?
They weren't the only two. Like, you'd Early Hughes, you'd so many.
Yeah.
So many.
Like, that Summerhill team, like Barry Dardis as well. Like, you know, it's
they were insane.
Yeah, it's unbelievable. Like, and I think clubs are going through patches like this. Like my own club, Simonstown, have gone through a patch now where our youth team that I was on coming up. Now, not me now. Like I'm playing junior football now. Drinking team with a football problem is what I say. But basically, like, that team that came up, like, we've Breen Conlon, like, should be starting for me, in my opinion.
Yeah, I go.
He's there or thereabouts. He's very close to it. And like, if you look at like Conor Nash, who's having the fucking time of his life over in Australia, like, you know, he's absolutely flying over there, and fair play to him. Like, he couldn't have turned that down.
If I was in his boots, and I think I said good luck to him as well. I think the last day he was out in Navan, and he's another lovely lad.
Yeah,
like Brian, lovely lad as well, and Conor, like the two of them, like playing underage against Simonstown was horrible.
Yeah, but I remember
The
because
two of them in midfield.
we had the two of them in midfield, and they've been about 6'5" since they were about 12. Do you know, they were
Massive.
they've been just huge every single year, and always not just tall. Like, it's not just like, oh, they can field the ball. They can play.
Oh, they can play.
They can play football.
But see, the funny thing about it was they dominate, and this is me, talking up my own parish. They were the only team when we played them that we won the midfield battle.
Yeah.
Because we had Pauric Diamond and Charlie McGarry,
Yeah.
two lads that could match them with their strength. Maybe
Yeah.
not the height, but the strength.
Physicality, yeah.
Like, and they always got the better of them. There was never a game where them two lads, we always kind of upped our ante for Simonstown.
Yeah, but she's local rivalry kind of thing.
That's it as well.
So you have that
it's
aspect of it.
completely different game.
Yeah. For anyone who doesn't know, like, John Paul is a Wolf Tones man. We can currently see pretty much see the pitch from where we're recording this.
Yeah.
And I'm a Simonstown man, so you shouldn't really be hosting a podcast together, should we?
Oh, far too close. Find out they'd have us in a ring,
Too close for comfort. Have us in a ring. Should we do the white collar boxing before?
You did, yeah.
Yeah.
We did, yeah. Bloody, what was in the hall in Simonstown?
Yeah. That was some crack.
What? But right.
Do you know what we should do? We should have a podcast white collar boxing.
I prefer tag rugby or something less strenuous.
I know. I reckon if there's any other podcast, there's podcasters. Is that what it's called? I don't know. Any other people?
Podcast men.
Yeah.
Women.
Or women.
Podcast women all together,
Yeah.
All together. Maybe a dash. Podcast men.
True.
Podcast
All together
women.
now by the farm. That's my walk on tune.
Yeah.
Actually, what would your walk on tune be? That's not mine.
Groovy trains. Did you mention the farm?
Nice.
On the
There you
groovy
go.
train.
I think mine is Serious by the Alan Parsons Project. The Chicago Bulls theme song.
Yes, I love that. Love that.
Katie Taylor walked out to it as well.
I remember actually when I used to go when Ireland used to play their home games at Croke Park in the soccer. They used to walk out to that, and it'd fade into the boys are back in town, and the
class.
atmosphere is just
Class.
it's
Unbelievable. That's a fucking banging tune.
isn't it?
Alan Parsons Project. Remember that in Austin Powers?
Yeah. Oh,
We shall call it the Alan Parsons Project. I think that's a band from the 80s.
But right, Dan, who do we have on the show today? That's our shade.
This week we are talking about online college and all things student life. So joining us this week we have the lovely Conor Squirrel McGreevy.
McGovern there.
Yeah, I nearly said McGovern.
Sorry,
Connor. Sorry, Connor. I work with a Conor McGovern, so it was in my head. I only saw him yesterday. So Conor McGreevy, Squirrel, also known as Squirrel, and the lovely Ciara McManus. They are coming in to talk to us about Trinity, DIT. Well, not DIT anymore. What is it?
No, it's DIT to me.
Was it TUD? TUD.
As I said, it went from dit to Todd.
Yeah, so we have a sports and leisure management and a business and economics student. So, it was a good chat. Like
It was a good chat. Yeah.
It's interesting to see how mentality has changed with college, especially like everything moved online, obviously because of COVID and the difference and the challenges it brings.
Yeah, I agree with you, and I also like to apologise that I did not talk that much in the interview for the simple reason that a bathroom was getting done in the house thanks to my lovely brother, and there was a lot of drilling going on. Not the type of drilling you're thinking, drilling into walls.
Dirty devils.
Three lads in a time.
Three lads in a bathroom.
Drilling away.
Jesus. What have we come to?
Well, will we go to the news, will we?
We will, yeah, we'll have a bit of news. Anyway, interview up after the news. Good luck.
Five, four, three, two, one.
The headlines this week: Dad plays football with child. Healy's introduced into the doll. A new Netflix documentary. And Leo Varadkar reveals a drug addiction. A local delusional adult has been spotted playing football with his child in the park this week. He still thinks he can make county.
Well, shall look, under 4th player of the year. It's the start. We can kick a point from 13 yards. As the saying goes, kicking points and smoking joints.
Plastic sheeting, RTE News, the pitch. In a shocking turn of events, Heelys have been introduced into the doll in conjunction with sponsorship from Michael Healy-Rae.
Up and away, I'm fucking flying up the road to Listone Varna.
Plastic sheeting, RTE News, the doll. A new Netflix documentary has been released called European Soccer Ball. Michael Cera is set to play Ole Gunnar Solskjaer, while Gary Oldman is set to portray Jurgen Klopp.
It started with an idea, and now it's a reality. The JP Morgan
Bring soccer ball to new frontiers.
Florentino Perez, RTE News, Europe. Another shocking turn of events in the Dáil this week as Leo Varadkar reveals his drug addiction.
That's why you don't do poppers before the Dáil.
Plastic sheeting, RTE News, rehab. This newsreel was brought to you by JP Morgan. USA! USA! Right, hello to our two lovely guests this week. As we said in the intro, we are talking about online college and how being a student has become a social experiment in a way. I find so just do you want to tell us a bit about the course you're studying, where you're studying, what you're thinking of doing about it? So go alphabetically, will we? CI over CO. So
okay.
go on, Ciara, you're up first.
I was getting the alphabet in my head there now. Yeah, that's Ciara first.
So I'm in my third year of business and economics in Trinity College. Yeah, I've 1 year left, and I initially wanted to do a master's, but after doing a year of online college, I just want to finish with college education. So yeah,
Fair enough. What about yourself, Conor?
Right. So I'm currently in my final year of sport and leisure management in Technological University Dublin, formerly known as DIT or Dublin Institute of Technology, as probably John Paul is fairly
I don't know if he's fond memories or what.
Too familiar with that place, so I'm telling you, too familiar. But yeah, currently in my final year, and I might just a contrast to Ciara, I'm actually like, even though we're obviously still in the online era, I suppose you could say, of college, I'm still planning in some ways to do a master's this next year in the new academic year. So here's hoping, fingers crossed, 1 more year at the least of online lectures and stuff like that. So can't wait.
And how have you both found like the change of being in, like, I know myself, like, I'm sure you obviously you're going to remember being like in college, going to lectures and having that sort of structure to it as well. Like, and I felt like it's the moving between lectures as well, which kind of you kind of set yourself up for the next one. So how do you feel it's changed now with like just basically leaving a Zoom call and going on another one, or whether it's Microsoft Teams or whatever it is, how do you find that's kind of changed? Like,
I think with online college, like, there is definitely like positives and there is negatives to it. Like, I mean, if I could say some of the positives of it, like, it's obviously, in my case anyway, like, I didn't have any like accommodation or anything like that when I was in, or when I'm still in TU Dublin. Like, I always had to travel up and down every day, and it was pretty taxing as well. You'd be fairly tired after every day and stuff like that. Whereas now, I can turn on the phone or turn on the laptop and I have the lecture right in front of me. And yeah, like literally, was it like a 30-second commute, you could call it? It went from a 2-hour commute to a 30-second commute almost. So, you just have the lecture in front of you, and you just you listen to the lecturers waffling on, and or
I don't even commute.
Yeah, exactly. So like that's some of the positives.
Yeah, I missed the bus isn't a viable excuse anymore.
Oh yeah.
Like, I missed my alarm.
Exactly. Yeah. Although I enjoyed the little nap, like on the way up to college. Like, I'd have a nice 2-hour nap or something like that. So, but I don't really miss the bus apart from that.
I don't think many people do miss the bus now, to be fair.
No, not a bus man.
And you're doing sports and leisure, is that right,
Yeah, sport and leisure management.
Would that have been primarily like lecture based, or would you had some sort of practical aspect to it as well, or was it all kind of lectures?
Yeah, I mean, like, especially this year as well, the final year, like, it is a lot more like focus on the business side of things, because like it's sport and leisure management, so like obviously there's a sport and leisure element to it, but it's really like I was probably saying this, I think I told this to John Paul, but throughout the 4 years, like, I've done my personal training qualification, and then I've done like a sport nutrition module, but then everything else was just like accounting or strategic management, human resources, like a lot of the management side of things which I kind of only copped on to about like a couple of months ago. I was thinking like I signed up to this sport and leisure course, and here's me doing like here's fucking squirrel doing accounting and stuff like that. I was like, what am I doing here? Do you know what I mean? And
Oh, yeah,
like
a bit of
barely
everything.
scraping by as well. You know what I mean? With the count, but I got past it anyway. But yeah, no. In terms of that though, it's again like since it's more like lecture based, you know, it didn't really affect me too much. If anything, I like with it being online lectures and stuff like that, like you have a lot more time, in my opinion, to get things like assignments done, and you know, different things like that. Like rather than commuting up and down and doing like other things as well. You know, you're at home, you have more time to get all this stuff done, and you know, that's I suppose another sort of positive of it. You know.
Yeah, for sure, for sure. And Ciara, I'd say for your course, I think something that a benefit for you, from what I can see from an outside perspective, would be that like you've relatively more time to watch the news and be in touch with the whole economic situation outside of the course. Do you know what I mean? Like you've
Yeah,
a lot of the
that's so
time
true.
you know, you would have been busy doing things with societies or whether it's meeting friends and stuff in Dublin. Like you've more time now to focus on the actual ins and outs of what's going on in the economy as well. And do you find yourself doing that more, or is it just kind of
Yeah,
you want to stay
well,
away from it?
if college was happening in person this year, I would be living up in Dublin. Anytime I've lived in Dublin in the past for college, I've never had a telly, or if I did have a telly, it wasn't connected up to stations, so I never really watched the news. But now I still always have the news on, so I'm a lot more in touch with current events.
You're becoming a politician super fan.
Exactly.
Yeah. So how have you seen, like, is there enough support for students with regards to like the mental aspect of it as well? Like, because I'm sure it's very taxing as well, like moving from having such a structure in college with your lectures and everything to going on online and looking at a screen all day. You know, like I know people use their laptops and stuff in lectures to take notes and stuff, but it's not quite the same. You're not getting that physical human interaction.
I mean,
Is
yeah,
that kind
like
of hard?
again, it is very, very different. Like especially during my final year as well. You know, obviously I had to do like a final year thesis and stuff like that, and like there is struggles that come with it because you know you have your supervisor who rather than you know organizing like a face-to-face meeting with them, you know, you have to email them, and it's you know it's kind of what we're doing here now. It's like it's a Zoom meeting rather than like a face-to-face, so you can't there's only really so much you can do with that, you know what I mean?
Yeah.
You know, and but I mean like in terms of like support and stuff like that, you know, I mean one of my lecturers, like the main sort of tutor in my course, like she has a class like every week, every Friday, where you know we can go in and we can like sort of ask questions, or if anything is bothering us, you know, we can bring it to her, and then she's gonna like she would help us out with it. Like you know, if we were struggling to meet deadlines or something like that, we could tell her, and then she could go to the lectures, and you know, like even though it might be only like a small chance of it happening, like
Mm.
there's a chance that we could get an extension on this assignment or the other assignment, or you know anything that we're sort of struggling with. So I mean, in my opinion, I think at least my course is doing pretty well when it comes to things like that.
That's good to hear that they've adapted. Like, and
Mm.
like I know they've had time to adapt now, but was it quick, the adaptation, or was it like was there a lot of teething problems?
Yeah, I mean, you know, it just comes with adapting to it. Like, you know, there is going to be a few problems, and you know, obviously with the lectures as well. Like, I kind of understand it as well. So, like, I do hear people sort of giving out about certain lectures not making time for certain students and
Yeah.
things like that, which is understandable. Like, it is sort of frustrating. But you know, like they have to get through like 30 different students. Like in my course, it's about 30 different people, and in other courses, you know, you could be having like 100 people in a course that they have to get to, and you can only make so much time for you know each student, if you know what I mean. But
Mm.
you know, if you just like eventually they'll get to you, and like if you keep at them, then you know you'll get the time that you need, in my opinion.
Yeah, yeah. Well, that's good that they're kind of spreading it a bit. Like, you know, they're kind of trying to get everyone involved as well and not excluding
Yeah.
anybody. So with regards to a Trinity side of it, Ciara, how do you think it's been from probably one of the biggest universities, not area wise, but like it's a big university basically. And like, do you think they've kind of adapted well to this unknown basically about like online college? Do you think it's been a good thing for them and they've done it well, or do they still have a lot to figure out?
I don't think online college has done well anywhere, to be honest. I personally, I think in-person college is a lot better because I've really bad internet in my area. I think everyone is just kind of thrown into the deep end with regards to online college. I've tried to contact Simon Harris about who is the Minister for Education, about stuff about simple things such as like student accommodation for next year. Like I was wondering if you could confirm or like even give a good estimate whether we'd be back on.
You were wondering if he had a spare room in his house.
Yeah.
Here, Simon, can I move in with you?
But yeah, no, you're like, I
just-
mean, you're definitely going all out though. Like when it comes to that, like you're trying to get your voice heard and stuff like that, you know.
Yeah, I think
he
it's kind of
doesn't
important
have
that you need to
a
go
big-
these ways.
Mm.
Yeah, he doesn't seem to have any sort of clue what's going on really, and I think that's kind of, it's been a problem from the get-go really. They've kind of just neglected the third level. It's all about junior cert, even cert, you know, and they're
Yeah,
not
and trying to
talking
get
about
them back into school
Yeah.
as well. Like
Like,
that's,
I-
you hear that nearly every second day. Like, oh, we need to get the kids back to school
Yeah,
and into
yeah,
secondary school
like-
and stuff like that. And like then when it comes to college, it's like, you know, it's a
fuck,
bit of a
fuck
different
them, they'll
story.
survive. You know, yeah,
Yeah.
it's just kind of you're kind of left to your own devices, like, and it's in a way it's obviously a lot more of an intense study as well. You know, it's the next level up. Like, I understand that the leaving cert is important with regards to you're finishing that section of your schooling and then you're going on. Like, I understand that they want to get them back and the primary schools and get the young kids back to schools and everything, but it's kind of like it's neglecting the 18 to whatever, say 24, 25-year-olds. So it's neglecting that gap. And I think they really do need to get the finger out really and start realizing that there's a lot of people here who, like you say, Kiri, like your Wi-Fi is not great in your house, and the internet in a lot of people are going to be like that, and a lot of people are going to struggle to make lectures because of internet or lack of supplies and stuff. And I think, do you think there should be something put in place for that? Like, not necessarily late deadlines, but an allowance kind of made for the likes of bad Wi-Fi or bad connections.
I mean, yeah, like I kind of think that some lectures, like, they don't really take that into account because you know, like you can't really help with things like that. If you do have bad Wi-Fi, there's not really much you can do. And I kind of think that some lectures they don't really understand that. Even some lectures themselves, they have like bad Wi-Fi where you can barely hear them, and like it's like, you know, they sound like robots, but yet they still continue with their lecture. And you know, it's like you said, it's kind of just been thrown into, you know, being thrown into the deep end, and like them sort of not understanding, you know, like they're, you know, which comes with a lot of the negatives of this whole thing.
Exactly.
The worst thing though is that students are still charged full fees for online college. Well, we have to use up our own electricity. We have to provide ourselves with our own internet and everything, and like it's just a bit too much to be charging full fees.
Yeah, exactly. Like you're paying full fees, but you're not getting the full experience. Like you're not getting your on campus life. You're not getting to see your friends. You're not getting to see your friends. Yeah, cans, yeah, college cans. So like that kind of brings me into the next question I was looking at asking is like, how has college life changed? As in like the social aspect of a college life. You know, like you meet people in lectures and after lectures and you chat, and whether you're John Paul, you go for a can or you go for a coffee, or
I can talk
you
from
know,
Connor's case. Like, instead of going to the living room pub, he goes to his actual living room.
Yeah,
Local.
that's one way of putting it. Yeah, that's one way of putting it. No, I mean, yeah, like that's another thing as well, because I mean, you know, obviously all of us like living in different counties. So I'm here in Cavan now, and there's like I know people from Monaghan who go to TUD, obviously people from Dublin who go to TUD as well, and really the only like communication we have is through text, or like if we were to do a Zoom call or anything like that. Whereas like even like something as little as meeting in the canteen and stuff, you can't do that because you're not in the building. You can't go to the canteen, you can't talk to your friends, and instead, like John Paul said, you go from not the living room pub, but downstairs to your living room, and on the phone texting away, and it definitely isn't the same. It's definitely not the same.
And how do you find? I know, Ciara, you're involved with a couple of societies with DU Comedy, and how are you finding that change as well, especially being like comedy such an audience based society in a way, if you know what I'm trying to say. Like it revolves around the people going to your events kind of thing. And how do you feel like societies like that have kind of survived and coped?
I would say we've lost a lot of interest. We've lost a lot of potential members that we could have, because we gain our members from hosting actual gigs like above a pub across the road from college or on campus somewhere. That's how we gain our followers and membership. But since we had to move online, live stream events and live stream gigs just don't have the same effect, especially for comedy, when the comedian like has to actually hear the audience's reaction to tell like how the show is going. So it's really hard to gather a reaction from an audience via Zoom. I actually just got elected the events manager, or not the events manager, but I'm the events officer for next year. So basically I'll be in charge of like organizing events. So I really, really hope that things get back to normal and we can have real gigs, because organizing live streams isn't as fun. It doesn't really appeal to me.
See, I think especially with comedy, it's such a, like as you were saying, you kind of rely on the audience's reaction and their interaction with you to see how the gigs are going. And I think that would be tough with some societies like that. And I think it's just the best that can be done now is just to try and do events online, but they're just not the same. It's like it's like doing a lecture online, they kind of come back into the same kind of category, like. And so do you think next year now you'll be back to normal, back in your lectures, study halls, the works? Do you think it'll go back to normal now in September, or do you hope it does, or do you hope you stay online for some aspects, or how are you feeling about it?
I mean, maybe if there could be like a mixture of the two, at the very least, because like it is kind of hard to say whether things are going to go back to normal and whether we're going to be in the actual buildings, like maybe not the first semester, but maybe if we're lucky, the second semester we can all be in the buildings, doing face-to-face lectures, and going back to normal, if you know what I mean, with a bit of luck.
Yeah. What about yourself, Ciara? How are you thinking Trinity's is it gonna open up to the world again and everyone see the book of Kells?
Recently, it's been in the news that they're looking at the idea of doing on-campus testing. So that might be a way of getting everything back to normal. But if they were to do half and half, and leave it up to the lecturers to decide if they want to do on-campus classes or online classes, there's another issue there whereby like I live in Meath, say, and like Conor was commuting up to college as well. So say if I was to commute from Meath, it would take me an hour and a half maybe to get up. If I have an online class at 9 and an on-campus class at 10, like I'm not going to be able to do that. Like I'd have to give my class on the bus, and it's just not really doable.
I remember you actually like talking about that as well. I couldn't believe like how you'd have like one class at like you said at 9 a.m. where you're doing it online, and then another class like in college as well, and like it makes it even more awkward then, it is kind of weird. It is very, very weird.
Yeah, you'd nearly rather have all online or not online at all. Do you know,
Yeah.
Yeah.
in some instances, like there's a lot to be said for maybe even if every class on a Tuesday and Thursday was online. Do you know, when you're only in college Monday, Wednesday, Friday or something. If it was
Yeah.
certain days, like a full block, but not like mixed in the same day, do you know, because then it just gets messy then, do you know, and you're gonna
Because
miss out
it
on.
makes it even more awkward for commuters. You know what I mean?
Yeah,
Like,
yeah,
it just,
exactly.
Yeah.
Well, I feel like colleges don't really care about commuting. Do you know, they're just like, well,
Yeah, true.
deal with it. Do you know,
Yeah.
especially some of these big colleges, like, you know, like a lot of the smaller colleges maybe are a bit more lenient towards it, but these big colleges with huge amount of numbers of students, you know, they're obviously, as you were saying, Connor, earlier on, they try to give enough time for everybody, but
Yeah.
you know, they have to prioritize some things as well, and I think it's unfortunate that like commuting kind of takes a back seat, and they don't really take notice of it really, or take notice of the sacrifices people put in to go to college.
Yeah.
And I feel like a lot of it is kind of reflected in like how based on campus a lot of places are. Like I remember my time in UCD, like a lot of it was purely based on campus, you know, and if you weren't on campus, you were missing out on a hell of a lot. Like, you know, like I remember I was commuting there for a couple of months, and I had, say, an event on for my course at 9:30 at night on campus. Like you know,
It's not doable. You know what I mean?
No,
It's
I
not.
didn't, I
It's not
didn't get home
doable.
till about 2:00 at night. Like, you know,
Yeah.
it's not feasible. And I was back in for 9:00 the next morning, so I was up at 6. You know, it's just not. You can't survive. Like, you'll wear yourself out.
Yeah.
And I think the sooner the college realize that, the better. I think kind of need to be a bit more accommodating. So are we all hopeful now that it'll go back to normal? Yeah, we all want it to go back.
I hope everything goes back to normal. Colleges, gyms, pubs, the whole lot. Let us out. Let us out.
Oh, Jesus, yeah,
Let us go.
you're getting stung 3 ways there with the gyms as well. I forgot about the
Yeah,
PT
yeah.
aspect.
Well, I mean, to be honest, like I have my own stuff at home, and then sure, even like you can go outside for a run, so I'm not really too, you know, too bothered about that. But yeah, like I mean, you know, just everything needs to be open, and you know, get this vaccinated rolled out and the whole lot. But we're, you know, yeah, that's just what I think.
Yeah. And you were saying, Ciara, about like or not online, on campus testing.
Yeah.
Is that what so does that mean like you're gonna walk in now and they're just gonna look you up and down and be like, oh yeah, you tested positive for Trinity. Yeah, off you go. Go on.
So yeah, something like that.
Very, very
Tested
good.
positive for Trinity.
Tested positive for Trinity, yeah. You definitely look like you go to Trinity. There you go. You're allowed in. Anyway, cheers. Thanks for coming on, guys. Appreciate that. Appreciate the insight. John Paul, I don't know what you're saying. Thank you, Tara. You didn't mention it. You didn't say a word now.
Yeah,
barely said a word.
There's a lot of there's a lot of hammering going on in my house. That's why I couldn't say anything. So apologies for that, guys.
Just an insight to what I have to put up with all the time. It's just sitting there. One word every 10 minutes. Like come on.
There's loads of drilling going on. And I don't mean the nice kind of drilling, you know.
Yeah, first rule of podcast.
There's a lot of drilling.
You have to keep walking.
Speak when you're told to, you know.
Yeah, I just want to say thanks for listening to us talk shite for the last 6 weeks or however long it was. The end of the season. Very sad times.
We'd like to thank none of our sponsors, as we have none.
But if you want to sponsor us, like JP Morgan, get on to us, please. I'm telling you. We could do with a 3.5 billion sign-on fee. It'd be grand, wouldn't it?
Poppers Ireland.
Plastic sheeting brought to you this podcast. Anyway, yeah, cheers. Thanks for listening for the last couple of weeks. Been steadily improving. I think we're getting there. So yeah, we big plans for the next season. Just watch the space. Basically, is all I can say. Right? I don't want to reveal too much, but hopefully it gets going.
All I'd like to say is, don't forget to pay your water charges.
Poxy chores.